Hello everybody. Today I'm going to show you the new card Agnar and how broken you can make him with the rest of the Ravager tribe. So let's actually just jump right into the games. Basically, I threw this deck together like, I don't know, a couple of hours ago, and I've already been doing some, oops, I should go to rated. I've already been really destroying people with this deck. And by destroying, I mean winning within a couple turns. So let me show you a game where this deck gets what it needs and it just wipes the floor with another deck. So in this case, we're running Agnar, so we're running a bunch of Ravager allies. We want to run the cheap Ravager allies because the cheaper the Ravager allies are, the more you can use Agnar's effect, and that's going to make it increasingly good. So here, because I know I'm against Threbbin, I start to keep high health allies in anticipation of him bringing out weapons and maybe activating the ability. Turns out I won't need to have done that, but that's why I sacrificed Feasterling there, even though it would have done a little bit of extra damage. I'm keeping Lythian Shackles because Lythian Shackles counters Devoted Knight, which is the most common turn 3 play for your opponent there. And here, I'm going to be just summoning Vermin and attaching the Lythian Shackles to the Devoted Knight as planned. Okay, so I do want to pause here and talk about exactly what Agnar just did here. Agnar has an ability that damages everything whenever a Ravager enters play, including itself, and when your Ravagers are dealt damage, they gain attack. So I summoned Agnar last turn, I believe, and that buffed Caged Savage and Rapacious Vermin, and then this turn I summoned another Rapacious Vermin, and you can see now I have a board full of high attack monsters. All of these guys are super high attack now, 4, 3, and 2. This is near unstoppable, and with something like Lythian Shackles to disable the Devoted Knight, I'm actually just going to go face and hope to win the game right on the spot here. So, as you can see, we're just attacking face with all of our allies, and our opponent is now just on 13 health. I think what our opponent needs to do here is activate his hero power, even though that would have kind of sucked. But because he didn't, what we got to do is just bring everything to a super high attack value. So 6 attack Caged Savage, 4 attack Rapacious Vermin. This is just, yeah, a good game on turn 5, which is really insanely fast. So when this deck gets rolling, it's basically unstoppable. There's very little you can do against it. So, let's see, what else do I want to show? Okay. This was a tough matchup against Jericho, but I don't want to show it because it was such a long match. So let's go and watch this game. This is another game where I believe I am able to win pretty quickly. But in basically every game I've played, I've had a really fast wins. There's some exceptions where maybe sometimes you don't draw into the right cards fast enough. We're running a little bit over 40 cards, so we do brick a little bit. But the reason we do that is because we have so much draw power. I think you can deck out easily if you run too few cards in your deck, and it does happen to go into that late game kind of thing. But anyway, you can kind of just see from this how aggressive this deck can be, where you just put down your Caged Savage or Feasterling, then Agnar, and it's just blowing your opponent out of the water. There's just so little that your opponent can do in this kind of situation. So we see our opponent here playing Accelerate. That's going to give us the resources we need to really just go crazy here. So what we're going to do is actually use the hero power, attach the Blood Frenzy and the Relentless Savagery. Now that's going to let us play Brakkong for only 5 resources. And now if you just look at our board, we have 6 attack, 5 attack, 2 attack, and another 5 attack monster. So this is all on turn 4, and you can kind of see how this deck really spirals out of control because of just how strong Agnar is at enabling all your Ravager strategies. So yeah, here I think our opponent just isn't able to deal with our board. I think maybe if they had the Frostmare, maybe they could have actually countered this board a little bit. Although any kind of haste deck kind of loses to Towering Brute, so I think it would have been a really bad matchup for them anyway. Okay, so there was one game I did lose to Midsky. He was playing Mercenary, and yeah, I should have probably anticipated that. So I put in some Crippling Blows, and that's probably gonna make me win the Badiru matchup, especially with Ellos Resolve, which is really, really good against Badiru. You actually don't have that bad of a Badiru matchup once you equip this to your monster or ally, because this is just going to prevent you from taking any combat damage from the weapon, and then if you slap this onto a high health ally like Towering Brood or Brakkong, it's just impossible for Badiru to kill. And also, you're so aggressive, unless Badiru goes first and has like the perfect mercenary opening, you'll probably win, and even then you have Crippling Blow to just blow them out of the water too quickly for them to react to it. So, yeah, I guess I don't want to do too much to make this video too long, so I'll just go over the deck list really fast. Again, this is something I kind of threw together, so I'm sure someone will come up with a better deck list. I basically borrowed a Ravager vest that I was working on for a while and just put Agnar into it. Asyn Mount Kazarr is amazing. It's great for killing just board control when you're coming out from behind. So this is a great card to sacrifice early on because you don't need a comeback card when you are so aggressive and you're going to start with the lead. But in a situation where your opponent pulls off a miracle and kind of deals with your early aggressive board, you still have Mount Kazarr that is going to win you the late game too. It's just so oppressive when you can put down like, I don't know, an Agnar into a Towering Brute and then have a 5 attack free floating damage that you can just spawn for free. You have your Blood Frenzy and Confluence of Fate, classic combo there. Only one copy of Burning Hatred because really I just didn't feel like you needed more. I dropped Relentless Savagery down to 1 because Agnar actually has sword attack, so that is an important thing to note. Ellos Resolve, honestly, I would want to run more, but one of the issues is that Agnar actually kind of bypasses the Ellos Resolve counter. So Ellos' Resolve is actually not as good in this particular deck as it would be in other Vess decks. And so that's why I only run it on 2. I think it's still a good enough card to run on 2 just because of, like, against weapon heroes like Badiru. You definitely want this card in that matchup. Crippling Blow is just for Mercenary. I think you could get away with not having it, but it's nice to have when your opponent has like this ally that you just want to deal with and yeah, not worry about it too much. Lythian Shackles is kind of in the same boat as Crippling Blow, but it just helps more against some. Crippling Blow just helps more against something like Mercenary, whereas Lythian Shackles is the kind of card that helps you deal with anything with a really good passive ability. So yeah, like Devoted Knight, for example. Lythian Shackles is just amazing into Devoted Knight. It gives you that extra turn to kill the opponent. Because the thing is, if Devoted Knight can crash into one of your allies and kill itself, then your opponent could tidal on turn 4. So it's really important to stop that. I guess Crippling Blow also kind of stops that, although it costs resources. Only one copy of Brakkong because I guess it's such a good card, but you don't want to draw multiple of them. Towering Brute is just amazing against any haste deck. This will win you the match against a haste deck. I guess, it has weaknesses though, like Shadow Bolt and, maybe like hero abilities and stuff like that. But in general, it's just a super solid card. Agnar is kind of the star of the deck. It's kind of what makes your deck so aggressive and able to push those very fast wins. And then we just run like the low-cost Ravager allies. I honestly, Feasterling gives you a lot of hero burn, but because it's 2 cost, that's kind of like why you run it. Also has pretty high attack on 3 attack. Anything low cost works so well with Agnar because then you can summon Agnar, then summon, I don't know, Rapacious Vermin or Feasterling or Cage Savage, deal 1 to everything on the field, and it's like you can sometimes mini board clear if you spam enough of these low-cost allies with Agnar. Anyway, yeah, I think this deck is gonna become a little bit more refined as we go forward. you can already see that in the multiplayer, a lot of people are testing out this deck with Bane Bow. They're testing it out with Elementalis and with Reika. And yeah, a lot of Elementalis decks here just trying out this card. The reason I think this card works well in Vess is because when you run it in Vess, you get the draw power that you're lacking in maybe an Elementalis through your Blood Frenzy and Confluence of Fate. So you have a little bit more of a late game. And I really like how in Vess, you can play your allies and then back them up with attachment support that helps you take back control of the board when you lose it. So stuff like Crippling Blow and Lythian Shackles is a big reason to play this over Elementalis, which is kind of, once you lose the board, which you're probably not going to if you're going first, but if you're going second, you could be starting from behind, and then I think Elementalis can kind of be dealt with by a lot of decks if Elementalis is going second, even with Agnar. So yeah, that's basically the reasoning behind Vess there, just making you a little bit better going second and giving you the draw power and the ability to play a late game, even though 90% of the time you're probably going to be crushing your opponent in like the first 5 turns. So yeah, that's basically the video. The overall conclusion is that Agnar is really busted. I think he's definitely going to be nerfed. So I guess abuse him while you can. You can find him using the pick a card, using the 58 code on the campaign pack. You can also go to the merchant and you can go to booster packs and you can buy campaign packs and open them. You can also get Agnar that way. I think for me personally, I got 5 copies in 30 packs. So, that is, not insignificant, but it's not that bad. I think if you buy, like a monthly pack or something, you can get enough Shadow Crystals to get a playset, which is not bad at all. And finally, the last way to get him, although it's kind of unlikely that you'll find it, is you can look for Agnar in the merchant. He'll probably be sold out. So yeah, it's sold out right now. I guess I'll sell a copy so someone else can buy it. So yeah, now there is a copy in the merchant that you can buy, but it gets replenished every day, but you have to be pretty quick to buy it on time. So hopefully someone can buy that card, and it's 4,600 gold. Anyway, without further ado, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.